Hello dears, welcome to season 2 of the podcast. This season will be dedicated to manga, as I have told you before. And the first one is CardCaptor Sakura, or CCS. If you're feeling lazy, you don't want to write down the whole thing. I said original, but it's just CardCaptor Sakura, because the new one is Sakura Clear Card. This manga was originally published in 1996 and it ran into 2000. It had 12 volumes, all of which were not in the anime completely. The anime aired in 1998 and ran into 2000 with 70 episodes. It's old compared to other manga and anime, and you can tell by the animation and the manga's art. Obviously completely different than what we see now and how Click Art is. But back in the day and recently, if you rewatch the whole thing, we will watch eagerly and wait for the new episodes every week. Because who didn't want to have magical cards that could create strong winds or a deadly fog or flowers raining down on everyone or turn into anything onto a cake. It was so fun to watch CardCaptor Sakura. But even when it's Shojo, dedicated to or targeting young adult females, unlike the counterpart shonen, which is for young adult or younger males. The anime, it did have that. It was mellow or softer compared to the notions and the themes in the manga. Because even when Sakura was almost teenager, because she was not even 12, it had all the elements that could make you rethink the whole genre. Because I have to talk about it and say it. The relationship between one of her classmates and a teacher was there, and in the anime it was glossed over, but in the manga it's quite clear and they made no bones about hiding or anything. But it was not a main thing, so we really didn't care. It was like, oh, it's there. And eventually, when she grows up, this is Rika, one of Sakura's friends. When she grows up, she's gonna marry this guy, who I'm gonna say 20-something, but he was more like 30. But it was not the only age gap relationship here, because there was also Sakura's parents and Nadeshiko, Sakura's mom. Sakura, she was 16, I think, when she married her dad, who was a professor, or TA or something like that. And of course, her family was against it, and they made mention of it, and they do tell the story more. Especially with the grandfather, because he was really upset about it. And also, what is her name? Sakura's friend. Oh my god, I just forgot her name completely. Tomoyo. Daitoji Tomoyo. Sakura's friend. Her mother was the cousin of Nadeshiko, and she also had like a little crush on her. And whoever says she didn't is lying, because it was pretty clear, just as Tomoyo was in love with Sakura the whole time. And this was not the only age gap relationship, because Mitsuki Kaho sensei, who was a teacher at Sakura school for a while, she was also older. I don't think they ever said exactly her age, but Sakura's brother was in love with her when he was, I don't know, this was probably 2 years before. Maybe he was 14, 15. And she was already 18, I guess. I cannot say for sure because they were not very specific about their ages. But it was all there. And then Toya, Sakura's brother, he like who he likes, and of course he's falling in love with Yue, with Yukito, I mean. And this is spoiler everywhere, so I'm sorry if I did not specify that it would be spoilers before. Just assume that everyone watched Sakura and everyone read the manga. And yeah, I mean, it's so great. It has so many elements other than the Clow cards and the magic and the adventures that Sakura goes through. After Kero is awakened, he guides her and tells her that she's gonna be the new Clow card owner and everything. And I mean, there's a reason why Sakura has all of this. And this is not shown on the anime, it's on the manga. It's because she's, oh my god, this is the major spoiler in this thing, but she's descendant of Chloride in some weird way, which is that Sakura's dad is actually a recognition of Clow, and more like, I don't know, half of him is Eriol, who was also a recognition of Clow. And there are so many little details on the manga that after you finish watching the anime and you go and read the manga, you are surprised by the amount of things that were left out, and that make everything make more sense than it did before. It blows your mind to read the manga. Okay, so I have said everything about basically the end of the book, of the manga, sorry, I'm thinking about books, of the manga. And I didn't even mention Syaoran because, I mean, I was too engrossed in all the relationships there are in the manga. But of course, there is Lee Syaoran, who comes from Hong Kong to also capture the cards. But he doesn't know that Glory, of course, already had Sakura pinned down as the one who would inherit all Clow cards. This is what he did. When he knew that he was gonna die, he saw the future because he could, part of the future, and he split his soul, his life, whatever you want to call it, and two reincarnations, as I already mentioned, Eriol and Sakura's dad. And this was how it happened in the manga. But in the anime, Fujitaka, Sakura's dad, he doesn't know, and he would not know anything of this. In the anime, they didn't mention any of the splitting of the soul or anything. They just said that Eriol was the reincarnation of Clow, and that was it. They left it at that. And I guess that's why the anime ran. I mean, it had a lot of stuff to go up to 70 episodes, but at the same time, there were some episodes that were filler and some cards that they just put there. They were not on the manga, as far as I know. And yeah, it goes all the way from Sakura finding the cards in her basement, Syaoran arriving, Sakura winning the test against Syaoran when Yue tests her to see if she's worth it of having all Clow cards and being their owner. And after that is when Eriol arrives to let's say make, force, whatever, Sakura to make the cards her own and change them, and that's how the rest of the manga goes. So yeah, I think I'll leave it up to here. I have talked enough about how great this manga is, and so is the anime. But if you only watched the anime in the past and were thinking that it will be the same to read the manga, it's not. And I have said some spoilers, but it's not enough as to say, oh, I'm not gonna read the manga because I already know what happens. No. You will definitely be into it from the start, and it's really great to see all these side stories and the side characters, because even if it's about Sakura, mere 10-year-old, almost like a teenager but not quite, obviously, and then the many hardships that she goes through trying to collect the cards and everything that she does. And despite all of that, the side characters is what make this manga so great, and the story is there, and it's what you want to know more about. So I definitely recommend reading it. I have loved it since the beginning. It took me quite a few years to read it after I watched the manga a bunch of times, but once I did, my eyes were open and it was heart-throbbing. Everything that you can imagine, like in a fantasy adventure type of manga, which is fresh and young as well, and it's all there, and it's great to read it. Also, there is CLAMP, which is the manga company authors who own this series, the manga artist group CLAMP. They also have Tsubasa, Reservoir Chronicles, and Holic. Tsubasa came after Sakura, and they wanted to create a work they had previous characters or the art from other manga, so Tsubasa was born. And what I wanted to point out is that it's also amazing, and the story is not the same, and because following Sakura, Princess Sakura Hime, around with Syaoran and other characters, which I'm pretty sure are from Exholic, or which I haven't watched or read, but I know they're connected. And the stories are not connected, but the art and the characters from their other works, Sakura and Exholic, come together in Tsubasa, and it's a freaking amazing thing that it really blows the mind. The anime is awesome, and I recently ordered the manga because I want to read it to see how alike it is. And the music and the anime is out of the world. And yeah, I just wanted to point out that these all relate and they are all great to watch. But I'm not gonna talk about the story of Tsubasa or Exholic, this one because it's about Sakura. But I really wanted to mention that. And now, yes, I am definitely done. And that's it. Thank you for listening, coming back for season 2. And if you're new to the podcast, you can check out season 1, which is dedicated to some cool books that I have read. And yeah, you can go to EachPage.org and check out my review of CardCaptor Sakura original manga. I don't have spoilers on that blog post, but I do have an extra one about Rika and Terada Sensei, which does have spoilers about the manga, and you can also read it on the blog. That's all for this one. Thank you, dears, for coming back, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. See you on the next one.